And let's begin with a big update that's coming in. An FIR has been registered against Royal Challengers Bengaluru and the event firm for the stampede that broke out yesterday. The Karnataka Cricket Association has also been named in the FIR. The FIR has been registered. In fact, this is a suo motu FIR is what we're being told at the Cubbon Park police station, which is where the Chinnaswamy Stadium area comes in. Now, this comes after we had confirmed for you in India Today that RCB had announced free entry and created endless confusion about a victory parade, about what's happening at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, only leading to crowds gathering in larger numbers. There was no proper communication. That's something we've confirmed for you repeatedly on India Today. But the RCB added to the chaos by constantly putting out on social media that there will be a victory parade, turn up at the Chinnaswamy Stadium and whatnot. And that led to so many people gathering in the hope that they will be able to enter the Chinnaswamy Stadium. But now the Cubbon Park Police officially registering an FIR against the Royal Challengers Bangalore. DNA Networks, that's the event firm that was responsible for the Chinnaswamy Stadium event. The Karnataka State Cricket Association has also been named in this FIR. There are multiple sections that have been mentioned in this FIR. Culpable homicide not amounting to murder, acts endangering life or personal safety, unlawful assembly, abetment of an offence, liability of members of an unlawful assembly. All of these charges have been slapped against RCB, the event firm and the Karnataka State Cricket Association. Let's bring in Nagarjun Dwarkanath and Sagai Raj for the latest updates on this. Sagai, I'll come across to you first on the update that's coming on an FIR finally being registered. Mind you, it's a suo motu FIR, but definitely the need of the hour, Sagai, because there have been multiple questions being asked of the RCB also of their role in handling this entire situation yesterday.
Now, RCB are the event organizers. They are the one who have proposed the celebration to the government, and they are the one who has also put out the advertisement on their website stating that they will be celebrating RCB's victory at Chinnaswamy Stadium. In fact, they also requested for a victory parade, which was been denied by the government, and they have rightly done it. And thereafter, the celebration was supposed to happen in Chinnaswamy Stadium. Remember, there are two differences: one at Vidhan Soda, other one at Chinnaswamy Stadium. One in Vidhan Soda, there was no rush to go inside. People were standing on the roads and they watched the event and they left from the place. In Chinnaswamy Stadium, people were on the roads waiting to enter Chinnaswamy Stadium. And that's where everything has happened. Now, the FIR has been registered against DNA Networks, RCB and Karnataka State Cricket Association. Karnataka State Cricket Association are the facilitators, RCB are the owners of the team, and DNA are the event organizers who helped us, RCB, to organize this particular event.
Okay, so the FIR being registered right now, mind you, it's suo motu. What that essentially means is that there was no complaint that was filed, but this is the Cubbon Park Police going ahead and taking action against the RCB. I'll also bring in Nagarjun Dwarkanath for the latest updates on this. Nagarjun, finally, you're seeing an FIR against the RCB, and there are multiple questions being asked here of what exactly was the role played by the franchise, by RCB, during the stampede. How did they fail really in their duties? What were the lapses reported on their side?
Well, it's also in sync with the Cricket Association, right? The police cannot enter the stadium to give bandobast. The police duty ends at the gate. RCB franchisee, without communicating to the police here, local police, had already tweeted on the June 4th by 7:30 in the morning that there would be a victory parade and everyone's welcome and free ticketing will be done. And that's their lapse also, without communicating to the police, without communicating to the local authorities, to the DC, to the police commissioner. They themselves went ahead and announced that there would be a free parade, victory parade, that people are welcome to watch it, and they decided the start point, they decided the end point, and also once they get into the stadium, it was in association with the Cricket Association as well as RCB. They had arranged a 6 p.m. event where all the players would interact with the crowd, and there would be cultural events also. So the team decides what is the show. This is not a match, remember, so the team has complete access to the event. The team decides at full freedom as to what is the chronology of events to be done starting from 6 p.m. when the when the players enter the stadium, and hence they are also equally responsible in this stampede tragedy, is what the police felt. So a FIR has been filed against RCB management, the Cricket Association management, and also the event management company called DNA Networks, who look after all the arrangements. In sync between all the three, they decide when do we start the event, how many people should be invited, should there be a ticketing done, or is it being a free entry, should there be a victory parade or not. All these were being done through these three association members, and hence the police felt that there need be a FIR filed against them, and so be it. And in Cubbon Park police station, they have filed an FIR as of now against RCB management. No players named Akshita. No one named specifically.
And Nagasha, my apologies for interrupting, but an exclusive news break that's coming in. I understand that you have accessed for us the status report that was filed by the Karnataka government in the High Court on exactly what happened and what's the status of the investigation currently. Now, the case has been handed over to the CID. That's been confirmed by the Karnataka government right now. We've got that full report with us where the government has explained and given details of what transpired yesterday and what action has been taken thereafter. Naga, if you can get us those details.
This is an exclusive India Today news break, Akshita. The status report filed by the government to the court just an hour back as to what exactly has been happening in the last 24 hours. The government has mentioned there's a magisterial inquiry that is happening. Investigation has begun. The investigation team will be recording statements, and they've given numbers of how many police are deployed at the site in the security arrangements. If I can just access the report and read out the numbers, give me a second, Akshita. I'll just read out the numbers. Also, what is mentioned in that status report filed by the government. There was one commissioner of police, two additional commissioner of police, 7 DCPs, assistant commissioner of police, 17 of them, police inspector 48, PSI 151, head constable 1092, total 1318 people were deployed in between the Vidhan Saudha as well as the stadium. The previous matches, bandobast were around 800. So the government is saying during IPL matches, usually we deploy around 800 people just in the gates of the vicinity of the stadium. But this time around, we have almost doubled it to 1,300 odd policemen. And now we have, in addition, there were 3 fire tenders, 2 ambulances, 2 SWAT teams and 1 water tanker for emergency, and also 1 mobile command center put in place for any tragedy that would occur. They had put in place these parameters, is what the government has told the court in the status report. And in further, they said that the FIR has been filed against the tragedy, and the government has decided to give it to CID, that is the criminal central investigation agency here in Bengaluru. The CID police wing will look at all these cases. The Bangalore City Police will officially transfer the case to CID, and the government has also told that there would be an SIT formed in the CID to investigate what went wrong. And further, in the status report, they've given the details on the victims, how many people succumbed to the injuries in which hospital, and the complete details also. And the government has said that the issue was taken with utmost seriousness, and exploring the option of issuing a fresh SOP to better regulate public gatherings in future, meetings, celebrations of any kind. So it's also given a promise note to the court saying that we'll pull up our socks, we'll have a protocol also coming up for the next few events. If at all there be a gathering of this sort, we will also have better parameters set in place, is what the status report says. So the government has officially given the numbers: 1, the police deployment; 2, the number of ambulance deployed; 3, the FIR registered; 4, they have told the court that an SIT will be formed with CID wing; and 5, they have been made a promise note that yes, we agree there was a chaos that has come out. We will do much better. We'll come up with a protocol ourselves as to what is the set of parameters and flowchart that we have to follow in future cases.
Ideally, such protocol should have been put in place yesterday. We wouldn't be talking about this kind of a tragedy in the first place then, Naga. But just the numbers that you've run us through in that status report, more than 2.5 lakh people had gathered around the Chinnaswamy Stadium, and what was assumed that it was, one location where the stampede had broken out. Based on the government, it wasn't. It was across the stadium at different gates that you had this tragedy play out. 4 deaths at one gate, at gate 7. 2 deaths at gate 6, 1 death at gate 1, 4 deaths gate 17 to gate 21. It was assumed till now, Naga, that it was around gate 7 that there was maximum chaos, that every time the gates were opened, you'd see people pushing through, there'd be a stampede, there'd be deaths. What this confirms is that all around the stadium, there wasn't enough deployment of police personnel. All around the stadium, there was clear mishandling of the situation. Yes, unprecedented crowds, but that's no excuse for how it was handled leading to the stampede.
Akshita, but in all fairness, I think the crowd genuinely outnumbered the police there. The 1,300 police in across 10 to 12 gates of the stadium were outnumbered totally. Sagai, my colleague, was also at the stadium. I was in Vidhan Soda overseeing the stadium. Is just a stone's throw away from Vidhan Soda, hardly 300 meters, 400 meters from Vidhan Soda. There were at least 2 to 3 lakh people that I could see on the streets of Bengaluru. The network was jam-packed, yes. If more time, there could have been better barricading done. But the police also are of an opinion that our duty ends at the gate of the stadium. We can't enter the stadium because the permission is not with us. The stadium is not our property, it's a private property. The barricading inside the stadium will be done by the stadium themselves. Or all we could do is regulate the crowd outside on the roads. They are also of an opinion. They told the government, in fact, this morning when I was talking to some senior people in the police department as well as the government. The police is of an opinion that if not for us, there would be more deaths on the road. At least we try to maintain the chaos in the road. The stampede occurred inside the just a second, actually the stampede occurred inside the stadium. The main reason what was said was the gates were so small and the crowd was so huge that there was a bottleneck that was created, and that created panic. The moment the gates opened, everyone rushed through the gate, and that's when the stampede occurred. But nothing less, that we are not taking anything away from the government. They genuinely had to do much more. They had all the powers to tell the stadium, you can't open the gates at this point of time. You need to open full gates. All the instructions must have been given. That is where the communication lacked, and the onus is on the government at this point of time.
No, so just quickly, Nagarjun, while I agree with you that you can't 100% pin the blame on the police, they did the best that they could in the circumstances. Was it a problem of under-deployment?
Well, what I'm picking up from the numbers is the 1,300 odd police just around the stadium. The moment they saw the huge rush, there were at least KSRP, the reserve police called from nearby police stations, and every police station were asked to send 15 to 20 additional resources. So there are around 200 police stations across Bengaluru, or 100 odd across police stations across Bengaluru. All of them were given instructions to immediately reach Chinnaswamy Stadium with 20 odd people, whoever is in the police station. This is a dynamic situation is what police are saying. But yes, if Mumbai could do it, if Kolkata could do it, the same victory parade and have a lakh people, but why not Karnataka government? Didn't they know that RCB fans were waiting for 18 years? It's common sense that when Kohli and team are coming, there would be lakhs and lakhs of people. It's just common sense. You and me knew that what was happening at 1 a.m. on June 3rd. We saw the celebrations across Bengaluru. If I was the chief minister, if I was the home minister, I would have at least told them, listen, I'm expecting 2 lakh people. We need to pull in police maybe from Tumkur district, from Ramnagara district, from neighboring districts, and make sure you have enough barricading. That's where I think the government lacked in terms of communicating to the subordinates as to what needs to be done.
And perhaps that was also because of a lack of time to actually do that, to ensure adequate deployment, ensure that additional units are also pulled in. I'll bring in Sagai. Sagai, you were there last evening at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. From the details that Nagarjun has accessed, it wasn't just at one gate that there was a stampede. At almost every single gate, barring the VIP area, which if I'm not wrong was gate 13, in other areas there seem to have been stampedes that have broken out, chaos essentially at every single one of these gates.
See, there are 21 gates at Chinnaswamy Stadium, and we are talking about 7 to 8 gates which was being opened for the public. Initially, they opened all the gates. Like you have 4 foldings of gates, and they have wide open the entire gate. And people started to rush in, and they didn't have enough force, whether as bouncers or the police, they didn't have enough force to control the crowd. And they closed one door. They allowed more people to enter from the other door. When they realized that they couldn't control even at that point of time, they closed partially. they closed partially. We have the visuals with us. They closed partially and they allowed only one part of the gate where people started to rush in. And remember, there was no ticket for that. First come, first serve. And if you get inside and if you get a chair, then you are settled. If not, you have to stand outside. You'll not get to witness the celebration. So people were panicking. Everybody want to get a seat. Everybody want to enter. That's when they jumped the barricade. The gate crashed. They even climbed on the wall of the Chinnaswamy Stadium and tried to jump. That's when the barricade which was been installed there, it fell on the people. And people started to walk on the other fans. If there wasn't any kind of gate opening, if there is any kind of pushing, definitely this incident wouldn't have happened. For an example, if the fans stayed on the road and cheered for RCB team on the road, if they would have walked out or if they took a victory march, probably this incident wouldn't have happened. Just because the crowd waited for them to open the door, and after that everybody want to get into the passage which has a bottleneck. Huge crowd getting into passage. That's when everything started. That's when everybody started. I was there. I could witness. I could see people falling. People want to get inside. They're running. They're pushing everybody, and they couldn't reach. And the police claim, the Advocate General has precisely mentioned in the court that they had 1,643 police personnel. Where I was reporting, and you spoke to me when I was reporting, Akshita. Yeah. I could count the police numbers there. There were around 11 to 12 police members in a stretch of 500 to 600 meters. There was only one DCP North from Bengaluru, was handling the crowd. Thankfully, he has resorted for lathi charge. Remember, if he wouldn't have resorted for lathi charge, there might be more people who want to jump on one or the other person, and there might be more casualties. We have always criticized lathi charge, but in this case, we have to appreciate that the police used lathi charge, and they announced in the mic stating that please follow lane. Please follow the protocol. You should not jump the barricade. You should come in the barricade. That's when we can allow, but nobody listened to them. They were continuously announcing on the speaker. They requested, but nobody was listening. But the numbers is exaggerating. Probably
very
the numbers of
1,600. 1,600 cops deployed there. 2.5 lakh people had gathered at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. And that's clear from what Sagai has told us from this report that Nagarjuna has accessed for us as well. I'll request both of you to stay on with me. We're going to continue decoding what were the clear lapses that have come to the fore on the part of the administration. But as we're speaking about what really happened at the stadium, I want you to take a look at what really the Chinnaswamy Stadium looks like. What led to this chaos and these deaths being reported? Gate number 7 is where the maximum deaths occurred. 4 deaths, according to the government status report, happened at gate number 7. Now, that particular area is close to Cubbon Road, so maximum people had gathered in that particular area. Then gate 13 to gate 15 is the VIP area. This is where the team's bus entry was, and that's why if you look at the Karnataka government's report, nobody was allowed in these areas. So there were no casualties, no stampede that broke out. It was at gate 7, gate 6, gate 1 and 17 to 21. So across that entire area, there were people who came together, jostling that was reported, and people trying to push through and enter every time the gates opened. Only one area was sanitized perfectly. Unsurprisingly, it's the VIP entry point where the team bus was supposed to enter, from where the politicians, also including DK Shivkumar, actually entered. Sagai Raj reports for us from Chinnaswamy Stadium of what exactly that area looks like. What happened? He was there yesterday when the stampede broke out. He went there today as well to show you in a less crowded scenario exactly what happened.
Imagine this entire stretch of road. You have only fans who have been occupied. There is no space for even a single vehicle on this particular road. And even at Vidhan Sauda, there were more than 1 lakh fans who had gathered to get a glimpse of their favorite player and their favorite team. Everybody were cheering. Everybody were looking forward for that vehicle, team vehicle, to reach here. And we were reporting about how excited fans were to see Virat Kohli, to see their team players, and to see the team bus. Whenever they could see even one picture of Virat Kohli or a bus traveling on this particular road, they used to scream and shout. They used to enjoy. It was a celebration. It was early Deepavali for the people of Bengaluru here. And nobody thought this will be a tragedy one. And close to 11 people who died, even they were cheering. They were so happy. They never knew that they're going to die while cheering for RCB. They never knew that it will be suffocating when they try to see their favorite player or favorite bus, because everybody were pushing. What exactly happened? It is a failure of KSCA, RCB and Karnataka government. You can understand that around 8 lakh people come to this place, and you have very few police personnel. Probably on this road, when I was reporting yesterday, on gate number P4, which is gate 14 and gate 13, or the gate 12 and 11 on the other side, there were huge number of fans who were waiting for the gate to open. Initially, RCB said that you should download the passes online, and thereafter there were huge crowd, and they couldn't even check the passes, and everybody was allowed on first come first serve basis. And there were very few police. Why am I telling this? Because all of this police personnel were wearing khaki. Probably I could count them. There were around 15 to 20 police personnel only on this road to manage a crowd of close to 2 to 3 lakhs. Imagine, it would have been a Herculean task for them. And this police personnel tried their level best. They made announcement on the speaker. They asked people to follow the protocol. Do not jump the barricade. Follow the lane. You should enter inside the gate in this way. But none of these fans had followed, because the arrangement which was made near Chinnaswamy Stadium was just like for a cricket match. It was not made for celebration. For a cricket match, you have around 35,000 audience visiting. But for this celebration, it was close to 8 lakhs, according to Home Minister of Karnataka. And the police personnel were being outnumbered. There were very few. They couldn't manage. And what exactly happened? For an example, if you have a gate like this, they had opened the full gate. And later on, when they realized they couldn't control the crowd which was rushing inside, which is trying to gate crash, jump from this kind of barricades and trying to enter this gate, they immediately closed the gate and they opened it partially. So when they opened it partially, there were more crowd, because it was first come first serve basis, and most of them jumped on it, and few of them fell below this barricade, and many of them walked on them, and everybody got injured. And in front of my eyes, there were 3 to 4 people who have been carried to medical commanding center inside Chinnaswamy Stadium, and later on they have been shifted using police vehicle. Remember, there was no ambulance because there was no space for ambulance to reach Chinnaswamy Stadium. So that is the kind of situation, and there was a bottleneck of kind of situation where everybody wanted to enter, and that's when everybody started to stamp on each other, and it was quite suffocating, and people died.
So it's now been a full 24 hours since the Bengaluru Stampede. 24 hours, not of ensuring accountability, but a cover-up. Why do I say that? How a cover-up? The latest information that we have is of how cops sought more time, which confirms beyond a doubt that the administration is to blame, that they insisted on holding the event right after the IPL win. We have confirmation on India Today that the Bengaluru police warned that such a massive event should be held during the weekend, giving them ample time to ensure adequate preps as well, so that this kind of a scenario of a stampede doesn't break out. Police had warned the government about rush hour crowding on a weekday. All of those warnings, that advice from the police, ignored, just so that the event can be held in peak excitement, with zero thought being given to what it takes to actually pull off such a mammoth event. The police had requested push the event to a Sunday. The government insisted on an immediate victory bash. So no, I don't think the cops are to blame. Yes, they could have been better prepared, but remember, these police officials were up all night after RCB's win, ensuring law and order. And right after that, in a matter of hours, preparing for lakhs of people to come together with zero coordination with the RCB, the Cricket Association, or for that matter, the government. Let's be very clear, the government does have to take a great deal of the blame here. They acted more like an RCB fan squad, focusing on fan craze, photo ops rather than governance. They took the issue lightly. They were more focused on ensuring that they get all the photos they want with Kohli and co. Now, why do I say that? Let's get you some proof. Sons, daughters of ministers were all sitting there with the RCB team, right behind them during the felicitation ceremony. The man we've circled out there, that's Minister Zamir Ahmed's son, on stage at a government felicitation ceremony. He's not a minister, he's an actor. But by virtue of being a minister's son, he's standing there beaming away. So this was the priority of the government. This is why they wanted to hold the event ASAP and not push it. They didn't care about security. They wanted their fanboy photo with the team. They wanted their family members to get that picture with the RCB team. And that is the only thing that mattered to them.
Your party also made a statement just now saying that BJP has information, police had denied the permission and told the government not to go ahead with it, but the government forced the police.
Yes, leader of the opposition made that statement. He said that as far as the information he has got, the police advised government against this particular celebration. In spite of that, in a hurry, with the intention of taking credit, government went ahead and organized this program.
खुद DCM DK शिव कुमार ये कह रहे हैं कि चिन्नास्वामी स्टेडियम की कैपेसिटी मात्र 35,000 है और 3 लाख लोग वहां मौजूद थे। किस प्रकार से 3 लाख लोग मौजूद थे? अगर 35,000 ही कैपेसिटी है स्टेडियम की, तो आपकी विक्ट्री मार्च में 3 लाख लोगों को आपने अलाउ क्यों किया? अगर पुलिस ने परमिशन नहीं दिया, उसके बावजूद विक्ट्री मार्च किस प्रकार से हो सकता है? कौन जिम्मेदार है इस विक्ट्री मार्च के लिए? क्यों एक कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं हुआ पुलिस और इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइजर्स के बीच में? जो इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहा है और जो पुलिस की टीम है, मेडिकल इमरजेंसी की टीम है, इनके बीच में कोई कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं है।
So on the issue of the police officials warning and advising the government against holding the event immediately, and on the fact that RCB authorities sought permission from the government days before the IPL final, but there was no communication given then, no preps done then. We asked all of those questions to Karnataka Home Minister G. Parameshwara. But as expected, there were no answers. He immediately walked away when our reporter spoke up and asked those tough questions of him. Take a look at that sequence.
Sir, the KSC had asked for permission earlier, but it was only granted last minute by the government, sir.
Okay, that's all. That's all.
Sir, there were, sir, in English, sir, Home Minister, sir.
Sir, the KSC had asked for permission earlier, but it was only granted last minute by the government, sir.
Okay, that's all. That's all.
Sir, there were, sir, in English, sir, Home Minister, sir.
No answer whatsoever. That's how much Netas believe they're accountable to you and me. That several questions are being asked of the government. Parameshwara, the Home Minister, chooses to walk away. But who's accountable right now for what happened? Well, there are multiple bodies here that we've been talking about. First, the Siddaramaiah government. Why? Because red flags were raised by the police. They still went ahead, planned the event. I wouldn't even call it planned because it was clearly just going ahead with the event with zero planning. That was what led to that stampede. The Karnataka Cricket Association, zero communication over event invites. Which gate should people go in from? What do they need to enter through these gates? Is it first come, first serve? There was no clarity given, and that's what led to people coming together in large numbers. The RCB also again guilty of doing that, putting out posts on social media saying there'll be this massive victory parade, saying people come here, there, whatnot, without getting any clearance from the police. They also continued with that event at the Chinnaswamy Stadium despite the stampede, and no one's going to convince me at this point that they didn't know. Sure, the players didn't know. How is it that the organizers had no clue about the stampede? So they are clearly at this point answerable on what happened. Then there's the Bengaluru police. They clearly didn't have enough personnel on ground. They were not prepped for lakhs of people coming together. Now, we don't know whether that was because they didn't have time, whether it's because they advised the government about something and something else completely happened. But either way, even the police must be pulled up for what happened because they didn't have a protocol in place. And as Sagai told you earlier in that report, even an ambulance couldn't come right through to the Chinnaswamy Stadium. And in such massive, big public events, that's the least of the steps that need to be taken. That emergency services are kept on standby and readily available. There are several questions being asked of all of the bodies that are referred to, particularly the government. And you've got now a political fight that's broken out as expected. The BJP and Congress trading charges over who is to blame for this tragedy. Let's get you those reactions in our next report.
Fans throng the bustling streets of Bengaluru after RCB win. The entire IT hub painted red. But the fans' frenzy turns fatal. 11 young lives crushed to death. While the families mourn the death of their loved ones, there is no end to politics over the tragedy. The BJP is gunning for the Siddaramaiah government for the loss of lives. The opposition party lambasted the Karnataka government and stressed that the police were forced to give permission for the event even as they were unprepared for it. The images from the State Assembly made the apathy clear. While fans waited outside the stadium, Mantris and their kin got pictures clicked with Team RCB.
RCB fans had gathered near the Chinnaswamy Stadium and all the police forces were here near Vidhan Soudha. Is it not the failure of the state government? And when Stampede is going on, Chief Minister, their cabinet colleagues are busy taking selfies with the IPL, with the RCB players.
The BJP alleged that the function was ongoing even after the first death was reported.
When they celebrated here near the Vidhan Soudha, almost 4 to 5 deaths were there. After that, they went to Janardhan Hotel to have dosa and badam halwa. So this was the attitude of the government.
Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar rubbished the charges by the BJP.
I don't want to speak politics, dirty politics. Our yavatunu BJP and JDS always place politics on dead bodies. That is their life, this one.
Though the FIR in the Stampede case does not name anyone, the Karnataka High Court, which took up the case suo motu, has made it clear there is no room for any blame game. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath, Bureau Report, India Today.
Your heart goes out to all of these families. Their loved ones, youngsters in the family stepped out to be a part of the victory parade. And now they've lost their lives. This family is broken forever. Some of those names are on your screens. Young Divyanshi, just 13 years old, is the youngest casualty of the stampede. Then you have other teenagers of 18, 19 years of age. Prajwal, 20 years old. Bhumik, 20-year-old. I'll never forget what his father said. He said, my only son has left. These politicians are to blame. Then you had young Shravan, 20 years old, again died in that stampede. Sahana, a 24-year-old RCB fan who was there with her friends, her family, has died. A 26-year-old, as you see there, Purna Chandra, Akshata of 29 years old. All of them, what you see here from the names we put out, is they're all youngsters. The oldest is 33. These were all people with such a bright future snubbed so shockingly short because of lapses, because of negligence by authorities. These pictures, we owe justice to these young faces and to their families who remain broken now after what's happened yesterday.
What was meant to be a celebration turned into a nightmare. RCB's historical IPL win after 18 years ended not with joy, but with the cries of grieving families. After a deadly stampede outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru claimed 11 innocent lives. Among them, 16-year-old Shiva Lingaswamy, who had just cleared his Class 10 exams. Purna Chandra, a 26-year-old civil engineer who travelled from Mysuru to celebrate, never to return. 19-year-old Chinnaswamy Shetty, an engineering student and dancer who wasn't even a cricket fan but had gone along with friends. Prajwal, who left home saying he had a job interview, his family only discovered the truth later. Another victim, Manoj's father, lamented over how they had lost everything with their son's death, a bright boy whose education he was funding in a premium institution.
ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಸಿ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಾವುಕಾರ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಓದೋದು ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಸರ್. ನನ್ನ ಮಗನ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡಿ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಹಾಕಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಇವಾಗ ಯಾರು ಸರ್ ಹೇಳೋದು ಸರ್? ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಯರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಮ್ ಈಗ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಸರ್. ಇನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಸರ್? ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು? 50 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಸರ್.
ಬರ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಯಾರಣ್ಣ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕು ಇರೋಣ ಮಗ ಯಾರನ್ನ ಮಗ ತಗರಿಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡೋಣ ನಾವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಹುಡುಗರು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ತಿರ್ಗ ವಾಪಸ್ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಣ್ಣ.
Then there is a story of 13-year-old Divyanshi, a young girl full of excitement, hoping to see her cricketing hero Virat Kohli. But by 3:30 p.m., before the event had even begun, she was gone. Her mother, inconsolable, says officials stood watching, did nothing.
So she wanted to see Virat Kohli. I was running out of breath. Somehow I escaped from there. I rescued one person, but then later I saw her. So I can't blame anybody. If at all I have to blame the security people. I have to blame the traffic police who were right there.
Truly unspeakable horror, terrible tragedy that no amount of condolences or compensation given by the government can really bring back Divyanshi to her mother. In fact, the mother is not really in her senses. She's being taken to the hospital by the family. We only wish and hope and pray that Divyanshi's family gets the power to trudge through this horror, this agony. More power to all the families of victims who have died in this unspeakable tragedy.
24-year-old Sahana from Kolar also lost her life. Her family says not only was there anyone to help, but the government could not even provide a freezer box for her body until they protested at the hospital. And now, only questions echo through these grieving homes. Who will take responsibility for these deaths? Why was there no crowd control, no planning, no accountability? As families mourn their children, all they are left with is silence from those in power. Bureau Report, India Today.
So families are demanding justice, demanding accountability. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar, whose video also went viral of a woman, a mother, scolding and essentially in a state of desperation, yelling at the Deputy Chief Minister, broke down as he said that he was informed of the deaths only after the event ended.
But ನನಗೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ವರಿಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಆ ಪಾಪ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಭಾಳ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ 15 ವರ್ಷ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದು. ಏನು 10 ಜನ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣಲ್ಲೇ. ಅದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿನೂ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಅವರು ನನಗೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟಾಗಿ ಒಂದು 10 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸಲ್ಲೇ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ನಾನು ರಶ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ. ಪಾಪ ಅವ್ರು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಬಂದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಇತ್ತಿರಿ 1-2 ಏನೋ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟಾಗಿ ರಶ್ ಮಾಡಿ 10 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಏರ್ಪಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ನಾನು ಇವರು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರು KCA ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರು ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಕಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗೋದು KCA ಹೋಗೋದು ನನಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾನು ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಇನ್ವೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ನನಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು. ನನ್ನ ಗಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಕುಂಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ನ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿನ ಅವ್ರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕುಂಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರನೂ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಿ ವಿತಿನ್ 10 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಾವು ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ಮೆಂಟು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. 2 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಅವರು.
That's all we have time for in this edition of Super 6. Thanks very much for tuning in.